Hey guys, Shaunty Phillips here with a brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shop there today. Taking a go out today, see things came out today, see if things are on sale. Today though, new release-wise, there's actually quite a few things coming out. One of the big things that comes out is the film Alita Battle Angel. And with that one though, Target has one that comes with some kind of like a USB wristband. And Walmart has one with like a Funko Pop mini keychain. And I think, Best Buy is going to have a Steelbook release of that one. Also, Hellboy, the Hellboy remake, that one comes out today. And that one actually has two different exclusive Steelbooks. There's one that's like a two-sided one that's at Target, and then Best Buy has a Steelbook as well, which is like an animated one, it looks like the graphic novel version. They have that one. Also today, Critters Attack, that one releases the brand new Critters film, as well as Missing Link. So definitely a lot of new things out today. Also though, at the end of this video is going to be a whole bunch of brand new DVD and Blu-ray reviews for some things I received to review and talk about for you guys. And as always too, leave me comments below letting me know, what you guys thought of the new DVDs and Blu-rays and 4Ks that I reviewed, if you guys have seen any of them, what you guys thought of them, and also if you guys plan on picking any of them up. But anyway though, guys, let's get going and see what we can find today.
Into Target we go.
And if you guys didn't see any of them yet, I put up a whole bunch of different videos over the last couple of days. I put up a Blu-ray and toy hunting video at Comic-Con, a tour video, as well as a video going to an FYE pop-up store during Comic-Con, and then also a video walking the entire floor with David Sterling at Comic-Con. And yesterday I put up a video as well going to the Dollar Tree looking for any dollar DVDs and Blu-rays, and I actually got to go through a lot of the boxes and found some really cool stuff. So definitely check out those videos if you guys haven't got to see any of those ones yet.
Yeah, but this Target has like major remodeling going on still, and everything's kind of moved all around the different spots, so fingers crossed the actual section has the movies out. I feel like they probably won't, so we may go to another one. Well, my suspicions were correct. As you can see, totally empty over here. I don't see any of them on the cart either. Doesn't look like any of the new stuff. Yeah, but see, it's totally empty over here. Alita Battle Angels, Critters, and then the Hellboy one, they don't have the exclusives or anything. So yep, gonna have to head over to another one.
And what's funny is I'm actually going in there later today. It's actually 1 o'clock now and still nothing out, but sort of is the Target way, it seems.
Into Walmart we go.
And those wondering though, since I was at Comic-Con this past weekend, I didn't get to see any new movies in the theaters this weekend, but I will be seeing though, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood this coming weekend, same with the new Lion King one.
And in your day, like I was saying though, with Alita Battle Angel, their Walmart exclusive one here comes with the Motorball gift set edition, which comes with a little mini Alita Battle Angel Pocket Pop keychain thing here, and that one is $22.99 for that one. That one's with the Blu-ray, and then the 4K edition here, which actually includes a 3D copy as well, because you don't see too many 4K editions that come with a 3D Blu-ray in them. That one's $29.99 for that one. Then the standard edition Blu-ray is $19.96. I'm going to be talking about this one at the end of this video. I really like this movie a lot. Also though, with Hellboy here, the 4K one here, is that the right price for that, for 4K? Yeah, so that's only $19.99 for the 4K. That's a really good price for a 4K for that one. And then the standard Blu-ray is $17.96 for that one. And then the DVD is $14.96 for that. They also have Luther, and this one came out last week. I'm going to be talking about this one at the end of this video as well. Also though, like I was mentioning, Missing Link, that released, and that one is $19.96 for that. Other than that, new-wise, I believe Master Z from the Ip Man Legacy one, that one's $14.99 for that, and $12.96 for the DVD. This one, though, was $14.96 for the DVD as well. Also, this one released, it's, Tom Holland's new movie that he directed, the director of Child's Play. It's a movie called Rock, Paper, Scissors. I like this movie. This is actually a pretty cool horror movie. I'd recommend you guys check this one out. Also though, Fast Color, that released, and that one's $17.96 for the Blu-ray and $12.96 for the DVD. And of course, like I was mentioning, Critters Attack, and that's $19.99 for the Blu-ray and $14.96 for the DVD. I'm going to be talking about this one as well at the end of this video. This is a really cool new Critters sequel with total throwback movie with cool old school practical effects and everything, but really like this one a lot. But like I said, I'm going to be talking about this one at the end in the review portion.
But now going to head over to our second Target location, and fingers crossed that one put out all the stuff, but we shall see.
Into the second Target we go. Well, I can tell right in the front, though, they have out the new stuff. And like I was saying, Alita Battle Angel, that comes out today, and that was a $29.99 for the 4K of that one. And this is their exclusive one. It has in here a, it's like a USB wristband, which is like some kind of a, like, I think it's like a charging wristband or something. It's like a charging cord, I think, that turns into a wristband. So that's kind of a cool thing here. And that one is $22.99 for that edition here. And the standard Blu-ray is $19.99. And Missing Link here, that one's $19.99 as well. Also, though, I'm going to be talking about this one at the end of this video. And then the Hellboy is $20. So this is like, I think, the exclusive one here. No, this is Dumbo. That's the wrong price. So that one's $19.99 for the Blu-ray and then $14.99 for the DVD. But we'll head over to the section, though, and see if they have the Steelbook over there. But in there, though, in the actual section, though, they did have the Hellboy Steelbook there. It's a really, really cool Steelbook, and that one is a Blu-ray Steelbook. They also had a whole bunch more copies of the Alita exclusive one in there. They also had Critters Attack in there as well. Also, though, they had Missing Link as well. So definitely did have all this stuff. So luckily enough, this location, though, had everything out. But now head over to Best Buy, and, you know, fingers crossed, they have the Alita Steelbook and the Hellboy Steelbook still. Like I said, there's another one that, you know, they should be having a totally different Steelbook, which is like the graphic novel style one for Hellboy over there. Into Best Buy we go. Yeah, in here today, though, I had a feeling, though, that I don't see any of the Alita Steelbooks here left. Those ones were, I believe they were $29.99. I think they were $35.99. Maybe those were not where those were. Maybe there might be some in the section. We'll have to look. But it's $19.99 for the Blu-ray of that one. Over here, though, they have the Hellboy Steelbook, and that one's $29.99. And this one also is a 4K Ultra HD edition. Like I said, this is one is done to look more like the graphic novel Hellboy look. This is actually really cool. Like I said, $29.99 for that one, and then $24.99 for the standard Blu-ray here. So that one was actually much cheaper, $5 cheaper in Walmart for the 4K. And then Critters Attack here, that one's $19.99 for that one, and then it's $19.99 for the standard edition Blu-ray here of Hellboy. But over here, though, in the actual section, they have a standee here for Alita, and yeah, there was $34.99, which was the Steelbook one. And even in the front, though, they didn't seem like they had a spot for this, so it seems like they didn't get too many. But it was $29.99 for the 4K of that one, and then $19.99 for the standard Blu-ray of that. And then over here in the actual section, they have the, you know, Master Z Ip Man Legacy here. That one's $19.99. And then also, though, the thing that came out today was the show Manifest, the complete first season. We'll be talking about that one at the end of this video. There is a spot here as well for some of the Alita Steelbooks. But yeah, like I said, this one sold out really, really fast. I believe, too, Amazon has an exclusive edition of Alita, which is like some like big box set kind of thing. I'll put a picture in, though, showing you guys what it is. But yeah, it's one of the Amazon exclusive ones. Every so often they have some of those exclusive ones. Other than that, though, don't see anything else in here too different today as far as I can tell, though. But anyway, though, guys, that's all for my brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Like I always say, if you guys enjoy my shopping videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Also in the comments below, though, let me know, you know, what you guys picked up on, you know, DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K. If you guys picked up anything today. Also, if you guys were able to find any of the exclusives today, especially the Alita Steelbook, which I said that seems like that went really, really fast. Also, though, let me know as well what you guys thought of all the brand new DVDs and Blu-rays and 4Ks that I'm reviewing at the end of this video. You know, if you guys have seen any of them. Also, if you guys plan on picking any of them up. But anyway, though, guys, thanks so much for watching and subscribing. Now, stay tuned for the brand new reviews. Now, before we get to the reviews, I want to show you guys some really cool FY exclusive Steelbooks they sent over to show you guys. The first one here is for the film The Warriors. This one has such a cool image on this one. Now, this is just a sticker here. I just put that on there just so it says FY exclusive. But here's a look, though, at the image here on the back. This one includes the Blu-ray and the DVD. But also what's really cool is this one has in here a mini poster for the film's original poster. That's included in here as well. You know, original poster artwork here for the Warriors. Like I said, that's a really cool thing that's included in this release. Now, also, though, the Evil Dead one has a really cool image on this one as well. It's a really cool image of, you know, Ash, you know, coming out of like this tree, like his like body is like a tree. You see like the cabin in the background, but really, really cool image on this one. And then inside, though, this one has behind the discs, it has some artwork behind the discs here. This has a Blu-ray and a DVD of the film. And here's a look, too, at the artwork on the back. It says, like, the features and everything. Let's show you the guys the image on the back. And this one has a really cool image as well on this one. Really, really cool ones. Also, though, I want to show you guys this cool FY exclusive Good Guy Dolls cereal they sent here as well. This one is another one of the FY exclusive things you guys can get. And this one here is like...
you know, it actually has real cereal in it that you guys can eat. Like I said, it says FYE exclusive, but really great artwork on this one. I was looking for this one at the FYE pop-up store in San Diego. If you guys didn't see that video, check that one out. One of my many Comic-Con videos I did. But yeah, like I said, this is another really cool FYE exclusive as well. And these ones you guys can get, you know, in store as well as on their website as well. And the first one I got here is from Arrow Video, and it's Weird Science. I love the slipcover on this one. Arrow Video also has a Steelbook edition of this one available as well. Of course, this movie, you know, is written and directed by Hughes, you know, who wrote and directed Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, tons and tons of great stuff. I've loved everything that he ever made. This one, though, was always one of my favorite ones to watch. This one had more of it was a little bit of a different feel than the movies that he was known for, because of course this has comedy elements to it and everything, but it also has like otherworldly stuff, like, you know, them creating this girl and stuff, like different stuff than, you know, because the other movies were kind of based more in reality. This one is more of like a science fiction kind of thing going on. It's about these two friends, you know, one's played by Anthony Michael Hall, and then Ian Mitchell Smith is the other kid in here, and there are these two friends who are in high school, and they're kind of the guys who are not, you know, very popular in school. They don't really, you know, have girlfriends. They don't really have, they're just like kind of like the outcasts of the school. And they end up, you know, they're kind of real like computer whizzes and everything. And through their computer, they end up creating, you know, by like sort of scanning images in of like these girls and stuff like that, like different parts of girls. And they end up, you know, unknowingly end up creating a, you know, their own girlfriend who comes to life through their computer. And she has kind of like abilities to kind of do things and like all these kind of crazy things. And essentially, though, she kind of comes around and is there to sort of help them, you know, try and like turn their life around and make changes and stuff like that. And the, you know, Anthony Michael Hall's dealing with, you know, his brother played by Bill Paxton, and he's there kind of giving him all kinds of grief and all kinds of problems. And of course, they're having all, like I said, all these problems with like the kids at school, and there's like a great mall scene in here with the Slurpee. It's such a fun movie. Like I said, I've watched this movie throughout the years so many times. On here, though, it has a brand new 4K scan from the original negative, but it has a whole lot of different features on here. It also has a exclusive extended version of the movie, which is 3 minutes longer, which features 2 additional scenes, newly restored and remastered in high definition. It also has the edited for TV version, which is in standard definition. So it has the TV cut of the movie where they had like some different scenes, and you know, like when they dubbed over like the bad words and all that kind of stuff. That's one thing I really think is cool, is releases nowadays are starting to have the TV edits. Just like if they ever put out like a special edition of like Problem Child 2, that one has like a rare TV edit you don't see too often with a number of different scenes. Same with you know, Summer Rental. And so like those are ones like I dream like of, you know, of course, you know, getting like special editions that when they put those ones on it. Same with the movie Clifford. That one had a lot of different scenes in the, you know, TV scenes. Let me know in the comments below though, guys, like if you know of like some of your favorite like TV edits of movies that had like different scenes in them. But on here though, it has a bunch of other features as well. It has casting Weird Science, which is an interview with the casting director on this one. It also has an interview on here with the makeup, special effects makeup creator of this one on here, who did the you know, there's a lot of different, you know, effects in this one. Some cool effects, you know, like what happens to one of the characters without spoiling anything, but there's a lot of like cool stuff in this. Also has on here though a newly filmed interview with the editor on this one. It has It's Alive, Resurrecting Weird Science, which is an archival documentary featuring interviews with cast, crew, admirers, including Anthony Michael Hall, theatrical trailers, TV spots, radio spots, image gallery, so tons and tons of features. It also has on the BD-ROM a PDF file of the original shooting script on here, but also though it has a booklet in here which has, you know, some pictures from the movie and some trivia and facts and all that kind of stuff about it. But it's one of these movies, if you guys have never watched this movie before, is an absolute must-watch movie. It also has the original, you know, reversible artwork, which has the original poster artwork for the movie as well. So that's cool. It has, you know, for reversal, you can reverse to that image, because that was the one, like, you know, the poster I always remember for the movie. But I really love this, like I said, this new slipcover on this one, and they do have have the Steelbook available as well for this one. The next ones here are from Shout Factory Scream Factory line. This one here is a movie called The Reptile. This movie here is from 1966. And this is basically, though, about this guy whose brother ends up getting killed. At the beginning of this movie, you see him going over to this one, like, kind of, like, mansion kind of castle. And, like, he ends up getting killed. And you see, like, a quick glimpse of, like, this kind of snake kind of woman kind of creature. And essentially, though, his brother goes there to kind of like see the house and see what kind of what see the brother's house. His brother lives in this smaller kind of cottage kind of house, and he's there to kind of like pick things up and sort of figure out too what happened to his brother, because like when he gets there, there's all sorts of like mystery. The people in the town are acting really odd. They don't seem to really want to talk about what had happened. They just kind of are like saying, "Oh yeah, he died," but they're kind of being really vague about it. But so he, of course, goes there and starts kind of snooping around and looking around and sort of coming to figure out that there's something weird going on in there, and there's something weird in the castle kind of place where the brother had died. And like I said, it has something to do with the reptile, and it's like something to do with that. I always like these kind of movies that deal with like these kind of like reptile creatures and these weird kind of things that are happening to people. And this had a real like cool look to this, the actual reptile in this one. But I thought this is actually a pretty cool movie. This is also a Hammer horror film, but this is presented in 2 aspect ratios on this one, and also has on here a new commentary track on here with author and film historian Steve Haberman, as well as filmmaker and historian Ted Newson, and filmmaker and historian Konstantin Nasser, as was a new interview with first assistant director on this one, a documentary in the film, a World of Hammer horror episode on here, which is about wicked women, theatrical trailer, TV spot in the still gallery. I think that's really cool because a lot of the Hammer releases recently have had episodes of the World of Hammer on them. This one here is a Hammer horror film as well. This one is called Lust for a Vampire, and this one here was from 1971. And this one was basically, though, about this guy. He went to this kind of town because he was working on this novel and kind of ideas for this novel, and this town had this history with vampires and kind of vampire activity in it. So he kind of goes around there kind of asking questions about it, and he kind of like goes to where this castle is, where they had like known things that happened like 30 years back. I think it was 30 years back when there was the last time when they had something happen. And it also this movie starts with like a ritual going on of trying to bring back this woman. And essentially, though, this is about like he goes there and like where the castle is like this girls' school, and it's like this school that's kind of out there, and you kind of come to realize as soon as he gets there that like there's this countess woman that's come there, and something really strange is going on at the girls' school, and stuff is kind of happening to people. So it's kind of like a vampire thing, all with like what's going on at this school. So it kind of has vibes of like those like I don't know how you would say for sure, like the movies that are kind of like at like a school where there's I always like those kind of movies where like there's something bad going on at the school and kind of stuff like that. And this one is like kind of around the same time as I think it was Twins of Evil. I think Twins of Evil might have been like right after this one. And this, like I said, this one was from 1971. This has, though, a brand new 4K scan from the original film elements, and this is also presented in 2 aspect ratios as well. But both these ones look really, really good here. Also, this has a new commentary track on here with author and film historian Bruce Hallenbeck, as well as a new interview on here with actress Mel Churcher, as well as a commentary track on here with the director on this one, as well as a Hammer horror films historian, has a theatrical trailer, radio spots, and still galleries on this one. And this one here is from Shout Factory as well, and this is so cool. This one now has a Blu-ray release, and this is Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. A month or 2 back, the first Power Rangers movie came out. Now this movie was originally, came out in 1997, and this is what spun off into the Power Rangers Turbo, series. But like around this time, though, it's kind of funny. Like I remember, like when I saw the first movie, I was like really, really watching Power Rangers crazy. But around this time, I didn't see as many episodes of the show anymore, so I wasn't like as familiar with it. I know I saw this one when this first came out, though, and I still thought this was a fun movie, though. But to me, though, like with Power Rangers, though, they all have like fun aspects to them, and this one had a lot of the same cast members from the original film, but there was also new people who are coming to this as well, because like I said, it was spinning off into the new series. And the villain in this one, though, wasn't as cool though as like Ivan Ooze and all that kind of stuff, because that was like such a crazy character. But there really was cool stuff in this one as well. It's just a fun movie, and to me, I think it's really cool though that this one now has a Blu-ray release. It looks really, really good here. But if you guys are fans of the Power Rangers, the original Power Rangers series, like up until like the early to like late 90s, and if you guys are a fan of the second movie, like I said, want to let you guys know that this one was available. But on here though, it has Ranger Tales, a look back on Power Rangers Turbo movie, with interviews with the cast on this one. Also has the original featurette on the film and a theatrical trailer. But like I said, want to let you guys know that this one was available, and it was really cool to watch this one again because I had not seen this movie in years and years. And the next one here is from Lionsgate, and this one I saw in theaters as well. It was a really fun movie, and it's called Long Shot. Lionsgate also sent over these promo glasses to promote the movie, and these are actually, I can actually wear these in like a DVD shopping one because these are the exact type I wear, but it says on the side Long Shot. But this movie though is basically though about stars Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron, and Charlize Theron's character is she's like in the early stages of running for to be president, and she's currently like, I think it's like in Congress. She has like a high level position, but she kind of is looked at as, even though people are starting to know that she's looking at running to be a president, but like her polls and the way public sees her is kind of like they look at her like she has no fun and like not relatable and not kind of up on things and is kind of boring. So she's kind of trying to figure out how she's going to up her image and kind of cool herself up with like the voters and the younger voters. And she ends up being at a party one night and ends up running into Seth Rogen's character. And she used to babysit for him, years back before, when he was in like middle school and she was a couple years older. And, he always had a crush on her, and, they end up, she's like talking about what she does, and she wants to have him come on the campaign trail and kind of help write jokes for her speeches and things like that, to help kind of like add humor to her and her speeches and make it look like she is not so like actually like she can have fun and like act kind of crazy. So they kind of hope that he can help her with that. But so it's basically though he comes along, and the whole on the campaign trail though, all the people that are working for Charlize Theron are like, well, why are you having him along? He's like, you do really want him to be seen with him? He's like messing around, and he worked for this newspaper where he was exposing truths, and he's like kind of a screw up kind of guy, and he's not really the kind of person that really looks good for someone running for president. But she's like, oh no, I need him to come along, and he's really happy to come along because he's had a crush on her forever since they were she was babysitting him. So he's just happy to be there, and it's kind of about them together and kind of all the stuff they're going through, and there's just some wacky crazy stuff that happens. But like I said, this is a really, really fun movie. I highly recommend you guys check this out. It has on here, though, a bunch of different featurettes on here, like Charlize Theron Uncensored. It has on here Hanging with Boys to Men, as well as a whole bunch of other featurettes. So lots and lots of features on this one, and just a really, really fun movie. Highly recommend you guys check this out. The next one here is from Lionsgate as well. This is a movie which, Guy Pearce is in this movie. The one main actor is from Game of Thrones. This is from the, directed by Brian De Palma, and it's a movie here called Domino. But this movie, though, I really like this because it was the most of like throwback De Palma movie in years. It has a total like it had like the feel of like Obsession and mixed with Body Double, which if you guys know, I absolutely love Body Double. That's like one of my favorite movies ever. Like it's one of those movies like I watch it and then watch it again right afterwards. Like I just love it. And the composer of that movie too, who's done a number of De Palma movies, he did the music in this movie as well. Pino, I always say his name wrong, but it's like Pino D'Agino. He also did the music in Carrie and lots of stuff. But the thing that was cool about the music in this was it almost felt like music that he made like in like the 70s or 80s, and it was like never was used, and it was like and it was in this now, so it has this real throwback like late 70s early 80s like vibe, and it really has that feel. And it was like I was watching this thinking, man, I have not heard music like this in forever, because it was such a throwback, and it was like cool music. And it's basically though about this cop who ends up he ends up forgetting his gun. He left his gun at his girlfriend's house because he had to leave real quick. And he goes to this place to kind of question somebody that they're in there. They're going to this building to question this guy. And what ends up happening, though, is it all gets messed up. And the partner has to stay with the one guy. And he has to go upstairs to try and get something. And because he forgot his gun, he said to his partner, well, could I have your gun? And I don't know who's up there. And you know, he doesn't know that you won't have the gun. So he kind of takes the gun. But, of course, though, he ends up, the guy that he's holding downstairs ends up having this little gun in his pants and shoots the partner. The partner dies. And then it's basically, though, about like the main guy is going and trying to get revenge on what had happened because the guy gets away. It becomes a whole big thing. And it's all like one of these movies where it's all intertwined and there's like kind of like you don't know who you can trust. But it has like like I said, this real throwback vibe to this, the way it was shot. It has some of those old school kind of scenes too, where that De Palma used to do, where it'd be like scenes where it would be like the score for like 3 or 4 minutes, or maybe even longer, where it's like no dialogue. But you're just like seeing something happen, like, and I don't know, I liked it because to me it was just so cool seeing something that was such a throwback that like felt like a lost movie that just kind of came out now. But you know, it was a modern movie, but it felt like lost, especially with the music in here. But like, if you guys have seen this movie, let me know what you guys thought of it. The next one here is from Universal, and this is the Ugly Dolls movie here, which has on here. This is the sing-along edition, which has like a sing-along track throughout the movie because the movie is like, I think probably like 70% of this movie is musical. But this is basically, though, about the actual Ugly Dolls. So I can't remember when they came out, the original Ugly Dolls. I think it was like early to mid 2000s. I can't remember for sure though, but they became, you know, really popular. And this is a movie about those characters. They were stuffed animals, and they still make them today, and they have a whole bunch of new ones as well because of this movie. But this has in here though a voice cast of like Nick Jonas is in here, Kelly Clarkson is in here as a star, Janelle Monáe, Blake Shelton, Wanda Sykes, Gabriel Iglesias, Bebe Rexha, Charlie CX. So a lot of people are in this. Emma Roberts, you know, doing voices. But this is basically though about like this doll factory where the dolls that like don't make the grade, like that are considered the ugly dolls, get pushed off and they kind of fall into where like is like over this cliff, and that's kind of where all the ugly dolls live. So like the normal dolls that are like the regular looking dolls, those ones are the ones that are kind of like the popular dolls that people adopt and like, you know, buy and things like that. But in this one, these dolls are over the cliff, and their dream though is the ugly dolls that are off this cliff of getting adopted and getting taken home to a family, to a kid. And you know, because they're the ugly dolls and they're off this cliff area, like they're never getting adopted. And it's kind of about like one of the dolls is like having this dream of leaving, so she's trying to kind of escape with some of the other ones and try and kind of get to where the kids are that hope that they will see them, but they end up coming to the area where it's like the normal dolls, and it's like the one, and it's kind of all run by Nick Jonas's character, and like he's there kind of saying, oh, well, in order to get to the kid and to leave, you have to pass these tests. So the ugly dolls are like put through this whole process of these tests and these things they have to do. But like I said, the movie is probably like maybe 60-70% musical, so it breaks into song a whole lot. And the songs in here really were some decent songs. You know, Kelly Clarkson is always good, so she, like, her music was all really good in here. And the main song too, Pink wrote the song. It was kind of funny because I was looking at the behind the scenes thing in here, and it was saying like that Pink wrote it, and I was like, yeah, this really does sound like a Pink song. But on here though, it has a making of Ugly Dolls, fun with a cast and crew, so it's a bunch of different like short, like 3 or 4 minute like making of segments talking about like the voice acting and like that kind of stuff on here. It also has a sing-along tease, like trailer on this one showing you what the sing-along is. Like I said, it just pops up like a button, you know, like through the words throughout this one. But honestly though, it's more for kids, but to me, I still thought it was a fun movie though. I think it is worth watching. I think kids would probably really get a kick out of this one. And the next one here is from Fox. This is Alita Battle Angel, and this is, you know, directed by Robert Rodriguez. James Cameron was the producer on this film. Now this one though, I saw this in theaters as well. This is one I absolutely love. This movie, I thought this was such a cool film. Probably one of like the coolest like science fiction like movies like this in a really, really long time, and probably I would say one of my favorites this year. Like, you know, so far, like when I'm doing my list at the end of the year, this is definitely one of those films that's going to be on that list of favorite films, because I don't know, everything about this movie, the cast, I thought Rosa Salazar, who played, you know, Alita, did a really, really good job in here. This is basically, though, this set in the future. And it's a future where there's like robots and like, you know, superhuman type robots and everything, and there was like a big war with the robots and all this kind of stuff in the past that had happened. So like a number of them were destroyed and everything. And Christoph Waltz's character, he's someone who goes around like collecting robot parts and like bringing, you know, kind of, you know, helping people that are like, you know, part robot and like helping them with parts they need and everything. But he ends up coming across the body of, you know, Alita, who's this like much older robot from years back, and he ends up taking her back and to his, you know, shop, and finds out though that he can bring this robot back to life and the brain is still intact, which is not something that happens much. So he ends up bringing this, you know, Alita back to life, and, you know, it's basically she wakes up and she has no idea who she is. She can't remember anything about her past, so she's kind of, like, really confused, and it's her trying to figure out exactly who she is and, like, try and, like, discover her past. And but it deals, though, with, like, Jennifer Connelly's character, who's trying to get Alita for one, for one reason or another, and these other people and these other group of robots, too, that are, like, coming after her. And like I said, too, it's also deals with, like, in the future, robots are like put into this like sport called like Motorball, which is like where they like fight to the death for sport when like people are watching and stuff like that. But I really like this movie. It's a super visual movie, you know, really cool story all around. I thought Robert Rodriguez did a really good job on this one. Like all around though, this is one of those movies that's like absolutely a must watch. It has on here though over 2 hours of features on this one. It has like a featurette on here about the Motorball sport. It has a thing on here from manga to screen, you know, because the, you know, Alita was based on a manga. And also has on here though some behind the scenes kind of stuff as well, but lots and lots of features on here. If you guys have watched this one though, let me know what you guys thought. The next one here is from Fox as well, and it's Missing Link, and this one has Hugh Jackman, Zoe Saldana, as well as Zach Galifianakis playing the voice of Missing Link. This is basically though about this explorer who is kind of like, has a lot of bad luck. Like, he was, like, in the beginning of this movie, he was out, like, you know, photographing, he finds the Loch Ness Monster, but then the like, Loch Ness Monster, he gets a picture, but then Loch Ness Monster ends up destroying the camera, and things go terribly wrong, and he's just not really having much luck, and he really wants to be, like, a renowned explorer, finding things that are lost, like finding Bigfoot, and all these different kind of things he's trying to find, because he really wants to join this group of these, like, men where it's all these, like, renowned explorers who are, like, real, like, you know, people look up to and look at as like the top-notch, most popular, biggest explorers in the world, and he really wants to join this group, and they like don't want him there, and they're like going, oh well, you could never join this group, and they kind of look at him like kind of like a joke, and he's like, well, I happen to get this letter that was saying that this is that, you know, I can, if you go to this letter, this location, you will find the missing link, which is like they're all kind of don't believe that exists, the other explorers, and he's like, well, if I find the missing link and I bring in the missing link back here, will you allow me to join the, you know, and be part of your group? And they're like, oh, and the head guy's like, well, yes, kind of laughing, like, there's no way this is going to happen, and he even sends some guy after him to try and make sure it doesn't happen either. And essentially, though, right in the beginning of this movie, though, you know, he finds the missing link, and it's about, like, that guy trying to send this guy after him and trying to, like, do anything he can to make sure the missing link can't get there. But the missing link, though, basically, though, what his goal is, and why he actually wrote the letter to Hugh Jackman's character, because he wants to get to this other area where he hopes there may be other people, you know, other Sasquatches like him. So that's basically what the movie is, like an adventure movie. But I thought this was a really fun movie. Like, I really like this movie. I love this company's animation style. They do an amazing job. You know, classic like stop motion animation. Has on here though a commentary track on here, as well as a whole bunch of different featurettes on here about the making of this one. But really cool movie. And the next one here is from Warner Brothers. They sent over a free copy of this one to let you guys know that this one was available. This is Critters Attack. Now, I will say I was so excited to watch this one. I grew up watching the original Critters films. I remember renting those ones as a kid so many times. I absolutely love those movies. And what's cool about this one is it's the first time a Critters movie has been rated R. So it's the first ever, you know, R-rated Critters movie. And it does have some real crazy gore effects. It's not like over-the-top insane gore, but there is some much more gorier than the other films were, you know, since it's rated R. And the other thing that I really love is the critters are not like an all CGI effect or anything. These are practical effects critters, total throwbacks to the original. And there's some really cool scenes in here too, which are a little different too, that the way they, they didn't really do in the original ones, which were these sequences of like the critters like tumbling and rolling in these different kind of ways they were doing it. And they were really effective and really worked. And I don't know, I was really impressed with the effects in this movie. I thought they all really, really worked good. And they were, like I said, they were doing most of, like, pretty much everything was practical. And it was cool to see it done like that now. But this is basically, though, about the critters crash land on Earth again. Dee Wallace is in here as well. She's kind of like hunting the critters in this one. She's a different character, though, than she was in the original film. But she's kind of going around hunting and looking for the critters. This is basically, though, about this girl who is trying to get into this college, and she keeps getting denied, and her one friend who's in the college is like, well, maybe you could, help babysit for the one dean of the school, because she needs to, like the admissions dean, she needs to find a babysitter last minute, and that might help you get your foot in the door and maybe help you get admitted. And so she's like, oh, okay. So she ends up doing that and ends up babysitting these kids, and she kind of takes them out into the middle of the woods like a hike, and when they're out there, though, they end up coming across this one critter that looks different, or technically the Krites, that looks different, and it's this all-white critter. It's like a different, like, nice critter, and like they end up taking it home. But because of that, though, the critters end up coming after them, but the critters are also wreaking havoc, or wreaking havoc all around the town, killing people in these crazy sequences. And like, I don't know, there's just something about this movie. It's from the same writer who wrote Happy Death Day, and it has like that kind of vibe. Like, I really like the stuff that he writes. I like the way the flow and the whole story-wise to his movies, and it has that kind of feel a little bit, like kind of the humor that Happy Death Day had. It has a little bit of that in here. Like, I definitely hope that they continue doing more of these. But all around, though, I thought this was a really, really fun movie. There's some really, really crazy sequences in here with these critters, and really, really good practical effects. Has on here, though, a bunch of different featurettes on here, talking about the gore effects in here, talking about, working with the puppets on set, and then, talking about inspiration for the critter ball, which when you see the movie, you'll find out what that is, as well as a fight scene commentary on this one as well. But all around, really, really fun movie. If you guys have watched it, though, let me know what you guys thought. And the next one here is from Warner Bros. They sent over a free copy of this one as well to let you guys know that this is available. This is a Manifest, the complete first season. This is a show, though, I was really interested in seeing. I saw the ads for this on TV and thought it seemed like a really interesting concept. This is basically, though, about a group of these people who go on this airplane. It's like a brother and a sister, and then his son, and his son is like really sick. He has cancer, and they're like getting ready to do like early treatments for it. And but what ends up happening, though, is the other family, they're all going to go on this one plane together, but they say, oh, if you end up, anyone goes on a later flight, you will get a voucher, and you get, I think it's like $300 back or $1,000 back. And they're like, oh, well, we could really use that for our son's cancer treatment. So the sister's like, oh, I'll come along with you. So all three of them end up going on a different flight. Now, this different flight, though, it leaves a couple hours after the other one that the other family is on. And basically what happens, though, is they're up in, flying, up in the sky, and then all of a sudden they have like this insane turbulence that lasts for like a couple seconds, and like the lights go out, the lights flicker, and then everything stops and seems fine. But they end up landing, and when they, the pilot's saying, okay, we're heading in to land now, they're going, who are you? Well, what flight are you on? Can you confirm? And they're all like, what? And they're like confused. The traffic control is like, you're gonna have to fly down to this other place. I don't understand. We don't see your name in the system. And then it becomes like they end up landing, and they're like, when they get there, like the government's there and all these like police and all these cars, and like they're going, where have you been? And like, what? We're just landing now. We're like a couple minutes late or whatever, and they're like, you've been gone for 5 years. So, and then everyone, basically, though, they look exactly the same. They don't know they were gone for 5 years. It just felt like they had some turbulence. So they get down back to, to land. And then everyone, like their family, some things have happened in their families, and then, because all the other people on the plane as well, like their families are all there as well. But it mainly focuses on the three people, though. But when they're there, though, kind of about like they start having like these sort of abilities where they start sort of hearing things like, do this, go that way, free this person, something bad is gonna happen. Like, they're all kind of being told things, and like it's all dealing with too, like the government looking into the flight going, what has happened here? Why is every single one of them saying that they you know, that they don't know what happened? You know, there's no way that they could be gone for 5 years and not look any different. So it's all kind of this mystery about like looking into it and everything. But this is actually honestly a pretty interesting show here. The next one here though is from Sony. This is a movie that stars Michael Ealy, Megan Good, and Dennis Quaid, and it's called The Intruder. And this one, I like this movie. This was basically though about this couple who ends up, you know, seeing this one house that's owned by Dennis Quaid's character, and they go, this is the perfect house, this is where we want to move to. And Dennis Quaid like ends up selling the house. And it's basically though, you know, they're going, oh, so where are you gonna go? He's like, oh, I'm gonna be leaving soon. I'm gonna probably go with my family, or I'll be going somewhere else. And you know, I lived in this house since I was a kid. I always lived this here, but you know, I know that you're gonna love this house. And but basically though, he doesn't leave. Dennis Quaid's character is like keeps coming around, and like he's outside cutting the lawn, and he's outside like, you know, doing some weeding, and like they're all like, well, aren't you leaving? Aren't you going back to see your family? And aren't you going to see your daughter? And he's like, oh yeah, I'll be going tomorrow, and I'll be going then. And essentially though, he is obsessed, like absolutely obsessed with this house. And it's kind of about like, it becomes this absolute like a nightmare situation for this couple that just moved in here. You know, they found this perfect house, this amazing house, like they're ready to start their life together. And they're dealing with Dennis Quaid's character and all the kind of nonsense that he's putting them through and all this craziness. I like this. I like these kind of movies about like crazy kind of people. And Dennis Quaid like does like a great job playing this real like guy who's like really cracking up in this movie. And I really like this. It has on here though an alternate ending, deleted and alternate scenes, gag reel, cast and filmmaker commentary on this one, as well as a featurette on this movie. But really was a fun movie. The next one here is from I'll have a link below where you guys can order this one for the best price, but it's from Movie Zing. This is also from The Orchard, and it's a movie here called Ashes. This is an interesting movie. This is about like this this aunt who like this woman's aunt who like she's kind of like this weirdo that doesn't really like, no one, it's kind of the black sheep of the family. And the family doesn't really talk to her. She kind of acts odd and has done weird things in the past and everything. But when she ends up dying, and like her ashes end up, you know, at the house of this family. And the movie is done kind of like documentary style, kind of like one of those like true crime things a little bit, where it's like reenactments, or like kind of like Modern Family, where it's like the characters are like in front of the camera, like getting interviewed about like what's happening and everything, like sitting down. This has this kind of stuff like going, oh yeah, when she died, and oh yeah, the way our aunt was, and the way she acted, and the way, you know, the family, and the falling out, and all that kind of stuff. So they're kind of talking about this. And of course, once the, you know, aunt's ashes get to the house, you know, or nailed to the house, like weird things start to happen there. And it's kind of about like, you know, this paranormal type stuff, and like kind of looking into the whole thing and messing around with Ouija boards. And it just becomes like an absolute nightmare for this family, and like this with this crazy aunt. I actually thought this had some really fun, creepy aspects to this one. Like I said, this one here is a movie here called Ashes. The next one here is from Movie Zing as well. It's a movie here called The Book of Birdie, and this one is basically though about this girl who, like in the beginning of this movie, like her family can't take care of her anymore, so they take her to this convent, and then like with the nuns and everything, the nuns were like take care of her and everything. They're like, well, she can stay here till she's like, you know, I think like 18 or 9, something like that. And like, and then they say like, well, you know, when then, you know, she could also decide that maybe she would want to become a nun and take her vows and stuff. But you know, she gets there, right when she gets to this convent, she starts like seeing weird things, and like seeing like a nun hanging from a tree, and like seeing these like ghostly nuns, and all these like weird type of things that she's seeing. And it's kind of like also, too, there's some really odd stuff going on that she's doing. Like some really, it's one of those things you can't really, I don't really want to spoil any of this, what's happening in here, but it also has like really, really cool music in this. Like this cool, like the music in this was really, really well done. But this is like an interesting like convent kind of horror movie with like some like drama aspects as well to this. And it's also about her like meeting this girl at the convent who like works there, you know, on the grounds, and she's like, they're like a relationship with them going on. But really, really interesting one here. Like I said, I thought this was actually pretty cool all around, and this is also the company that put this out is called Syndicato. I believe that's the name of the company, but this is a Movie Zing release as well. And the next one here is from BBC, and this is Luther, the complete series here. This stars Idris Elba. This is actually a cool show, and I never had heard about it really before. I don't know how. I had totally missed this show. This is originally from 2010 and just finished airing. It went for 5 seasons. This is a 6-disc set here. This is basically, though, about Idris Elba's character, who is this police detective. In the beginning of the show, though, this guy ended up getting, dying because he didn't, he was like hanging off the ledge of this building. He was this bad, like terrible guy, and he ended up he didn't die. He fell off and went into a coma, but like Idris Elba's character didn't, help him and didn't grab him. So because of that, he was suspended in the beginning, and then when the show starts in the first episode, he's just being reinstated. And, the way the guy fell, though, was kind of like the Joker and the Batman. It was kind of like that kind of a situation. But in here, though, in the very first episode, though, this one woman, her parents are killed, and even the dog was killed. And he's, going there, and this is his first case back, and he's, interviewing her, and, she's kind of saying, oh, I don't know, my parents never really had any enemies, not that I'm aware of. And he's, his character, though, is super intelligent. He can, tell if people are lying, and he knows, though, it's, Ruth Wilson is the actress in here that he's interviewing. He's talking to about what happened to her family, and he's starting to know that something is off here, and he believes that she's lying. And of course, in the first episode, you find out that she is, and she's, horrible. And she's, this planning all these murders and everything. This show is basically, though, about him trying to track down murderers and also following her along because she ends up getting away. And it's hard to explain everything that happens because, like I said, I just started watching this, but it's a really, really cool police, crime show. Really, really well written as well. But if you guys have never seen this one, would recommend you guys check this out. It has on here, though, the making of on here, cast and crew interviews, Luther 4, Close to the Edge, as well as a bunch of other featurettes. But like I said, it's a 6-disc set here, the complete series. Now, the next one's here from Vinegar Syndrome. This is a movie here called Hellmaster, and this stars the main actor, from David Emmage from Dawn of the Dead, and he was only in a couple of movies, so it was cool to see him in this film. This is basically, though, about this group of these students who go to, it's kind of like a weird kind of college program they're going to, and I think it's in an insane asylum, and it's all being put on by this one doctor, and he's kind of oh, I will be training you, and I will be teaching you about all this, and they're watching these TV monitors and everything, and watching him talking. They're all wearing these headsets while he's talking, and the movie kind of has a vibe a little bit of Doom Asylum. It was making me think of that, and I read somewhere that it was filmed in a real active mental asylum or something like that. It's one of the trivia things, but this is basically, though, about at the school where this these interview, the students are there, and there's these weird experiments going on with this professor and everything. Basically, someone's going around killing people, and they're driving around in this church van with this cross on the front, and there are some crazy death scenes and stuff in here. Some really, really cool music as well. This one has on here 2 different cuts of the movie, the original theatrical version, which is called Them, then also has the director's recut, which is in standard definition of the movie the version called Hellmaster, has a director's commentary for both versions, interview on here with the cinematographer, concept art gallery, behind the scenes still gallery, archival locations featurette. This also stars John Saxon as well. This is a really pretty interesting movie here. I thought this was pretty cool, and picture quality as well looks really good. It's it's restored in 4K. Vinegar Syndrome always does an amazing job with their restorations. This is a movie that stars Levine DeCarlo, from The Munsters, and a bunch of different movies as well. But this is a movie here called Play Dead, which is one I had never heard of before. And this is basically about her character, and I think it was her sister died, and she kind of didn't really like the sister, and she kind of had, I think, was that who it was? It was the sister? I'm trying to remember, yeah, her sister died, and then she has because a sister got with this man that she liked. There was like, she always was kind of bitter against the sister, bitter against the sister's family. And it's basically, though, she ends up giving her dog to the family of the sister her sister who died. And like the dog is going and like killing people, and it's kind of being made to look like accidents. And it's kind of like supernatural, kind of like the way the dog is doing it is kind of weird, but it's like it's kind of making it look as if it's accidents. But, you know, the family's starting to think something else is going on, and Yvonne de Carlo's character has got it all planned out. It's like her big revenge. I thought this was kind of cool. I like those kind of dog movies, of course, like Cujo, and there's like, I think one called like Toxic Dogs. There's lots of different like killer dog movies. This one was from '82 is when this one was made, but Yvonne de Carlo is always really good. This also has on here, though, newly restored in 2K, a great transfer on this one. Has a video interview on here with the director, audio interview here with one of the actresses, a theatrical trailer as well on this one. The next one here is from Magnolia Home Entertainment. This is a documentary called Hail Satan. This is a documentary about the Church of Satan, and you know, about the members of the Satanic Temple organization, and they it's kind of about, you know, because that only started a few years back, and this is a documentary all about how, like, there's more to them than people know, and it's kind of, they were more like there to kind of troll and kind of like parody takes on things, and like because of the things they said, and they were kind of showing how like they had like an actor originally going out and kind of giving the speeches and talking about what they're doing, and like then like the guy who was actually behind the whole thing, he then came out as being the face of the Satanic Temple, and it's just kind of all about like the behind the scenes of this group, and some of the guys are like blurred out, so you don't know who exactly all the people are behind this group, but it's kind of like all about like documentaries dealing with, like, it all deals with other forms of religion as well, and kind of like it goes real deep into the whole thing, but also deals too with like the trolling going along, and like they would purposely say things like that to get attention, and it was actually a really, really well done documentary. This has on here, though, additional scenes and interviews on this one. The next one here, I just have the disc for this, but this one you guys can rent now. This is from Smith Global Media, but this one will have like I'll let you guys know when the actual release is out on DVD you guys can buy, but they sent the actual disc that you guys can rent right now in Redbox. And this is a pretty good movie. I just finished watching this now a few minutes ago, and this has, you know, so it's Ethan Hawke and Naomi Rapace, and it's called Stockholm. And this is basically, though, about this bank robbery, where it's about, Ethan Hawke and Mark Strong's characters. Ethan Hawke kind of puts on this wig and, you know, goes into this bank, and this is set in the 70s, and he's there, and he says, and he starts holding people hostage, and he's like, well, if you don't get Mark Strong's character out of prison, I'm going to start killing people in here, and he's holding a couple people hostage in there, and one of them is played by Naomi Rapace's character, and it's basically, though, about, you know, it's kind of done with serious parts, but a lot of comedy. Like Ethan Hawke did a really good job in here, and it's kind of about like the going-ons of this bank robbery, and like the police and their kind of discussions back and forth, and they're having all kind of problems and not like believing anything Ethan Hawke's character is saying. And since it's called Stockholm, it deals too with the people that are kidnapped, you know, especially one of them having like starting to kind of fall in love. That's like what it's dealing with. But this was actually a very different take on like police, bank robbery movies. And honestly, though, this one is worth watching. I actually really like this one. Check out the trailer for it, though. But like I said, you guys can rent this one now, in Redbox. The next one here, though, is from PBS. This is a brand new collection here of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. This is the Would You Be Mine collection here, which includes 30 classic episodes from 1979 to 2000 here of Mr. Rogers. And this one here is a so this is a, how many disc set? This is a 4-disc set, but it also has in here too episode guides to let you guys know, which ones are in here, which episodes are in this set. But this is one of those shows that I, grew up watching this. And I especially love, Mr. Rogers would go to like certain places and kind of, you know, kind of showcase, you know, go to different factories and restaurants and stores and all that kind of stuff, and kind of like showcase different jobs and what people do and that kind of stuff I always really liked. And because as a kid, though, I was always watching this. I was always watching Reading Rainbow. Terrific Trips was one of my all-time favorites as a kid. They only made, Fisher-Price only made like 4 of those. Someday I wish they would put those on DVD. But Mr. Rogers was one of the ones I watched. Of course, Pee-wee's Playhouse. Like I said, though, one of the guys know that this one was available here, this brand new collection of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And the next one here is from Synapse Films. This one here is called Django the Bastard. This one comes out next month from Synapse Films. This one I had never seen before. I have seen, though, a number of the different Django films. This one was from 1969, but, you know, with the Django films, they made, like, you know, the original series, the original movie, and then they made, like, a bunch of different ones with the character throughout the years, and lots of different actors playing the character of Django. And, of course, too, Quentin Tarantino made Django Unchained, which was his version of the character, and his movie kind of took inspiration from like aspects of a lot of the other ones. Was even had like some, I think, some of the music from the original Django film, but like all the movies though are really fun, and this one has really cool music. I really love the music in this one. This one kind of had a little bit of a different take than some of the Djangos that I saw before. This one though is basically though about the character Django coming into this town, kind of putting a cross into the ground, and he's kind of there. It's sort of like the angel of death. Like he's there to kind of like take out certain people, and he kind of puts down this cross and puts someone's name on it, and it's kind of about like him going there and getting, you know, taking out these people and killing them, and him, you kind of find out throughout this movie, you know, more and more about the Django character and kind of why he's there, and about these people and about his list and everything. But really actually thought this was a pretty cool movie. This one has on here though a brand new 2K scan created from the original 35mm negative element. Looks really great here. Such a great transfer on this one. Also has a commentary track on here with film historian and author Troy Harworth. But really thought this one was definitely worth checking out. Now the next ones here are from Film Rise, and I want to let you guys know that these two are available. And this is one here called Mountain Rest, which stars Natalie Dyer as well as Frances Conroy, you know, from 6 Feet Under and American Horror Story. She's from tons of stuff. And Natalie Dyer is from, you know, Stranger Things. This is basically though about Natalie Dyer's character who ends up going to see her grandmother, who is this like famous actress in the past and has become reclusive and hasn't really been seen by many people for a long time. And her mother though, you know, Frances Conroy's daughter, hasn't seen her in years, and they kind of had like a falling out and everything. So it's basically about them coming, the mother comes back with Natalie Dyer's character to see her mother, and it's kind of like this awkward situation because she's kind of trying to find out more about her grandmother because she's never met her before, kind of trying to talk to her and everything, and it puts like a strain on things with her mother. You know, she's like, well, you know, you're talking to your grandmother and everything, it's nice that you're seeing her, but we had a terrible past together, and you know, like, so they kind of have all these kind of troubles, and it kind of has like sort of scuffles and stuff like that between them. This has on here though exclusive interviews, deleted scenes, and a trailer. This one from Film Rise, I want to let you guys know is available, and this is a documentary called Wildland, and this has on here deleted scenes, a photo gallery, and a trailer. This is basically though a documentary about the firefighters who are going and fighting these wildfires, and it focuses on a group of them, kind of all about the things they go through and like their personal lives and all the kind of stuff that they go through when battling through wildfire season. Like I said, one of the guys know this one's available, and this is a Film Rise release as well. And these ones here, one of the guys know about these releases. These are all from Juno Selects, and these are MVD releases, but from the company Juno Selects, their titles. And it's 3 different releases here, and these movies are all from the 50s. It's 3 different films here. The first one here is Child's Play, as well as the film here, Conflict of Wings, and then Double Cross here. Like I said, just want to let you guys know these were available from the Juno Selects line. And the last one here is from a company called Horror Fix, and you guys can get this one on Amazon, and it has 2 different versions of the movie. The theatrical cut, the original cut, as well as the extended cut. Which is the theatrical cut, though, original cut is 80 minutes, and the extended one is 123 minutes. But on here, though, this is like a parody of Friday the 13th. And this is basically, though, about, you know, like the one character who ends up being the lone survivor of the killer at this camp, this goofy killer. And, you know, she ends up surviving. And now the camp, though, years later, is being opened back up by this uncle and his nephew. And it's going to be like a camp for people who are from, like, the nut house, like these crazy people. So there's all these kind of crazy sequences of, the nuts to get off the bus and, like, go there and, like, these goofy... You can tell it's one of those movies where a lot of stuff is improvised, so it goes like really off the wall and really crazy, goofy kind of stuff happening. And the killer, of course, is back there going around taking off these campers one by one with all these goofy deaths and like goofy kind of comedies. And there were so many like wacky characters and stuff in this one. But if you guys want to watch like a parody of Friday the 13th with a crazy killer and crazy kill scenes and everything, definitely check this one out. But anyway though, guys, that was all for the review portion of this video. Thanks again for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.